We'll give it another 30 seconds here. Hope everyone's having a great morning. It's a beautiful day. I can't believe it's May already, although April to me seemed like it was extremely long. I don't know for anybody else, but I'm sort of glad to be in a new month at this point. Well, we will go ahead and get started here. Philip, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Phil Lucazonis for everybody. I help Greg with most of the Cloud Veterans, all the Cloud Veteran stuff, right? Cloud Veteran Advocate. I help with intake. I help with resume reviews. We have recently launched a new job placement platform as well. I also served for 10 years in the U.S. Army and currently work for a tech distribution company. So a lot of experience. I've gone through a lot of what you folks are kind of going through right now as you transition out of the military. So happy to help in any way I can. We recently launched this new webinar series where we're going to review different AI tools every other week. I think we reviewed Notebook LM first. We reviewed, we did a prompt first actually, in ChatGPT and other LLMs that we reviewed Notebook LM a couple weeks ago. So this will be our third session where we're going to review Claude, and Greg's going to show us how to use that tool and some of the features there. So I see some notes in the chat here. That's like
The
one of the
audio is a
ones.
little choppy. It's a little choppy.
I'll pass it over to you. I'm going to kind of coordinate as Greg does this. So Greg, go ahead.
Yeah. And just to summarize for Philip, he's been with Cloud Veterans for a few years. He's a volunteer. All of our folks, including myself, are volunteers. We don't have any paid employees or expensive offices. All of the money we raise from donors go directly to help veterans. And as Philip had mentioned, we've started a series open to everyone, whether you're a military veteran or not. If you are a person interested in AI and learning more about AI, this is a great webinar series where we review a specific tool each session, and we break it down and we give you the ins and outs of how we're using it, how we work with it, to help give you ideas on how to integrate these tools into your work stream and into your life. My name is Gregory Scott Henson. I spent 20 plus years of my life building and scaling companies in the Microsoft ecosystem. Today, I run a small SaaS company that I started 2 years ago called socialpost.ai that helps busy folks curate and build their social media presence. I'm also an angel investor. I love investing in and meeting with early stage founders. So if you have a startup and you're looking to raise money at some point or interested in bringing on an investor, please reach out, let me know. You can submit a request just from my website, gregoryscotthenson.com. And then also in my spare time from all those other activities, I'm the executive director here at Cloud Veterans, which is a nonprofit focused on helping veterans transition out of the military, or if they've transitioned out of the military already and they want to learn AI skills for their particular job role or add technical skills into their resume and portfolio, we focus on helping the veterans with those two specific things. Great. All right. Well, let's dive into it then. We're going to talk about Claude today. I will share my screen and show you. I'll give you a quick overview first of all, and then we'll dive into 6 demos. At that point, we'll take a break. We'll let folks on the call play with it on their own, and then we'll all come back together. And I'll ask for a few volunteers to share either what they just built here on the call right now, or perhaps something they've built previous to this call and want to show others, just to help people figure out how to leverage this thing. Okay, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screens. I have 6 monitors, so screen share. Here we go. You should be able to see my screen, yes?
We see your desktop, Greg, yes.
All right. So the first thing I'll point out is that for pretty much everything you're going to see today, there's really no, I mean, you can access the Claude chat without a subscription and limited usage, but you're really going to want to get a paid account to take advantage of most of the stuff we're seeing today. There's two types of subscriptions. One is an individual subscription, which you see here. As I mentioned, you got the free plan. The pro plan gives you everything you need to do. I always recommend start with that one. And then if your usage goes up or you exceed what your monthly allowance is within Claude, you can upgrade to max 5 or max 20. That's on the individual plan. If you're using it as an individual person. If you're at a company, then I highly recommend for some of the companies I'm working in, we have a company plan. We use the team plan here. So it's $20 per user per month, 25 if you're billed monthly, $20 a month if it's annual. You have to have a minimum of 5 users to join this plan. It won't take anything less than that, and everyone has to be in the exact same email domain. You can add additional email domains in there, but you're going to want to use your company email for everyone that's in the team plan. I don't know anyone that has an enterprise account. Obviously, for additional features, it's here, but they have that as well. Any questions on signing up for subscriptions? So once you're all signed up there, what you're going to do is just search for the Claude desktop app. You'll see here it's on Claude.com. You download the version on the computer that you're using. This one's Windows, this one's Mac. And then that will get you the basic install and setup for Claude. And you can see here, for example, I can access Claude.ai. So this is the chat feature of Claude. This is in a web browser. That's what you get on the free plan. But when you subscribe, you get that download, you get to access the desktop app. And that's down here in my menu bar. So you can see here, is my screen resolution okay, Philip? You can see, do we need to zoom in at all?
It's a little small, but it's clear.
Looks like we got someone raised a hand. Quick question. Go ahead, James. Can they speak?
Yeah, I think I can allow him to talk. Go ahead, James. Take yourself off mute. You should be able to speak.
Oh, James, you there? Okay. We'll keep going, James. If you get your mic working, let us know and just jump in and ask your question or put it into the chat. And guys, this is meant to be interactive. So if you have questions along the way or you're wondering how something was set up, feel free to raise your hand or drop it into the chat or just come off of mute and ask your question. All right, so now this is, again, the Claude desktop app installed locally on my computer. And you'll notice there's 3 sections over here along the left navigation menu. You have chat, which is what you saw in the browser. But now you also have 2 additional tabs here. One is called Cowork and one is called Code. Chat is where you, just like ChatGPT, just like any other chatbot, you can ask it questions, you can have it do research, you can have it go online and look at things. It's just your sort of standard chat capability, nothing fancy there. That is typically where most people start out in AI, is just starting to use the chat feature. I call it level 1. When you're good and comfortable with that chat feature, I recommend going to level 2, which is Cowork, and then level 3, which is Code. Now, I know Code may scare you. The name is probably not the best, but the code piece can be accessed and used by non-developers and business leaders and business executives and folks. And we'll go through some. We're not going to really go into code today, but I'll give you some use case scenarios. Well, specifically, within Code, for example, you can have it build you a personal website. You can have it go scrape the internet for various data sets. You can integrate with other APIs. If you have a subscription and there's API access, you can use Code to sort of set all that up. You can have it build out an MVP of an application, for example, similar to Lovable. And so you can do all that without having to know code or write code, but it's definitely more powerful than Cowork, and Cowork is more powerful than chat. And that's sort of the level of processing are all within each of the 3 tabs. Any questions on those? Great. Excellent. The next thing I'm going to cover here are what are called connectors. This is more the setup part of Claude. Once you've got the desktop installed, so first you subscribe, then you install the desktop, and then the next thing you do is you have to play with a few settings in order to maximize it. So if you click in the bottom left corner here, you're going to see, let me do it over here. Either in chat or in Cowork, you'll see there's a customize button. These are specific to where you're at inside of these three modules. Some of them are the same, like customize here and customizes here. It takes you to the same exact place. They just put it under both, so it's easier. But there are some things that are specific to Cowork that are not in chat. For example, scheduled tasks and live artifacts and dispatch and projects. Those three projects are, but if you click on this, it takes you to the same location. So there are some additional context-specific options within each of the various areas of Claude. I'm going to show you how to set up these connectors. These are very important in order to maximize Claude. You'll click on that customize button, and then you'll click on connectors. And here I can see that these are the connectors that I've installed already. I can search for additional connectors. I can add those additional connectors here. And once you browse, I can search just about everything. They have a ton of different connectors in here, and they just keep on going. So odds are, if you're paying for a subscription for your company, odds are subscription provider has a connector into Claude. Once you add the connector, you'll just have to configure it. So when you click on a connector, for example, it'll say not connected. When you add it, it shows up under this not connected list. And then here you'll click connect. You log into that connector using your credentials. It doesn't share credentials across because different people in the company are going to have different permissions. And it will use your permission set when accessing this connector. We use Ahrefs, for example, for our SEO. We have Jira for our dev tickets, Canva and Figma for designing, HubSpot for one of our websites, Social Post. We have the M365 connector, so it can read my emails and summarize meetings, and I can with M365. We have Mixpanel for our website analytics, Stripe, Wix is another website that we have, and Zoom. So there's no end in sight on the number of connectors here. Most companies are going to have a connector available. If it's not available yet, it's probably coming out soon. If there is no connector, and that has happened sometimes, if there is no connector, for example, I wanted to connect Claude to Notebook LM, which is a Google product that I use, and they don't have a connector. So in that case, I had to use what was called an MCP server. So if you don't find your connector in here, you can just search online for, like, for example, Notebook LM MCP server. And then you can ask Claude, if you see that they do have an MCP server, in the chat, you can say, hey, I need you to go into your settings and configure the MCP server for Notebook LM for my account. And it will come in here and set that up for you. You don't have to know how to set up MCP servers. It can be a little complicated. Just ask Claude to do it for you. Okay, so that's number one. You want to set up your connectors. Number two, you want to tell Claude about you. Who are you? What do you do? What are the names of who you are? And for that setting is going to be not under customize. You'll click on your name down here in the bottom left corner, and you'll go to settings. And then in settings under general, you're going to see that there's instructions for Claude. This is where Claude has its master blueprint of who you are and what you do. So you can see here, I have a very lengthy instructions for Claude. It's about me. It's got my identity, my names. It's got who he is section. It's got my career timeline section. It goes on with my current focus, companies and projects I'm involved in, education, certifications, languages, my social media handles. It's got content themes that I like to write about, blog topics, and my writing style, my voice and tone, the structure of the writing, signature patterns, what I avoid, press and media mentions, speaking and teaching stuff. I got these are Calendly links to all of my Calendly events that I offer people, my free resources, my skills. It's a lot. There's a lot in here. But here's the beauty about it. You don't have to write this from scratch. I just went to Claude Chat and I said, hey, Claude, I want to give you instructions in your settings so you know about me. Interview me and ask me everything you need to know, and then give me the output so that I can paste that into the instructions. And Claude did all of that for me. I didn't write a single line of this. It just interviewed me, asked me the questions, and then gave me the output, and I pasted it here, and I was done. I double checked it, of course, but I just pasted it here, and I'm done. And now it knows everything about me. So this is very, very important. The other thing you want to make sure, that's the second item. First is your connectors. Second is the instructions. Third is memory. You want to make sure under capabilities, again, we're in settings, under settings, capabilities, that the memory is enabled on both of these. The chat reference, so it can search old chats and have some memory, and it keeps memory on everything you've discussed in the past. Otherwise, when you create a new chat and you ask it something, especially if it was like, hey, you gave me that report yesterday, can you give it again? It won't remember unless these are enabled. So that's very important. Lastly, I'll say if you started like yourself, if you chat GPT and then Claude came along, offers a lot more capability, and you're like, okay, I'm going to move to Claude now, but I don't want to have to, I got to start all over again. I got to train this thing. It has to get to know me. ChatGPT knows me already. It's kind of a pain. For those people that are in that boat, you can click under this start import. And essentially what you do is you copy this prompt that it gives you, you paste it into GPT, you hit enter, and then it gives you all of your chat history and everything there is to know about you. You copy that out of GPT and you paste it here in step 2 and you add it to memory. And now you've fully migrated every single chat history that you've ever had inside of ChatGPT into Claude in less than 2 seconds.
Hey, Greg, real
Yes.
quick before you continue, a couple of questions. Can you hear me okay first?
Yeah, it sounds much better now.
Well, there's a couple of questions in the chat about the About Me section. Provide possibly the prompt that you used, that you gave to Claude to give you kind of the series of questions that we asked it. Can we share that maybe in the Discord or in the chat here?
Yeah, I can search it, but literally all you have to do is click on new chat and say, and you don't have to be worried about how good the prompt is. It'll improve it for you. But basically, interview me to write up all the instructions you need to add to your settings. If I really want to get fancy, I use AI to help with this. So, for example, I still have my Chat GPT. You can see here, I'll go to ChatGPT. I'll just do a new chat and tell it what I'm doing. Hey, I need instructions. I need a prompt for Claude to interview me and add instructions in the settings. So I'll give that to GPT and it gives me everything that it should be asking. You'll interview me step by step to build it. The interview does take a while. It's going to take an hour. But trust me, it is well your time. All you have to do now is copy this, paste it back into Claude. Claude will interview you and then update it in the instructions for you.
Okay, awesome. Couple more questions here, Greg. You mentioned downloading the history from GPT. Can we do that with Copilot, Grok, and other LLMs as well?
Yes, yes. Any LLM that you're already using, you just have to paste that prompt that it gave you under settings, under capabilities, and then start import. All you have to do here is copy this prompt here and paste it into any other LLM that you're using.
Great. And the last question was, do I need to use a markdown file for that import from OpenAI to Claude? I don't think so. I believe it's just a copy paste from what Greg
It's just a flat text file, no markup, no XML, nothing like that. And again, have it interview you, and then when it's done with the interview, it says, I now have all the instructions I need. You can just, the second prompt there would be like, great, now just go ahead into my settings and copy and paste those into there for me. You don't have to configure Claude. You can just tell it to do those things for you.
Perfect. And then one more just popped up. Is there any way to toggle between private and local or public so that you can keep some of your data private if you want to have like a private project or a locked project or something like that?
Yes, yes. There are projects. We're going to dive into that. That's sort of working locally with specific data for a specific task. When you search and use Claude, you can tell it, for example, if you disable web search, it will just use the data that it was trained on or the data that you're giving it and not use anything off the internet. So that's another sort of area if you just wanted to, remove the web search in capability. By default, it's there though. We
Perfect.
also have these different models. I'm not going to dive too much into this, but I use Sonnet. That's sort of level 2, if you will. Haiku is level 1. Fast, quick answers, basic type of stuff. I just leave it my default on Sonnet, which is good, but not the best. And Opus is the top one. So if you're going to do like a business critical task or something really important, and you want to make sure you're getting the best result, you're going to want to change that to Opus. But 99% of the time, at least for me, I'm Sonnet's good enough. The consumption they are a little bit expensive on the higher one. The most Sonnet second, Haiku third. Okay, great. Moving right along. Let's go through some demos. I'm going to walk you through 6 quick demos. Then we'll take a break. You guys will play with Claude on your own, and then we'll all come back and I'll ask for volunteers to show us what you built, either on the call or if you built it before we got on this call. We'd love to hear how folks are using Claude in their own daily lives. All right, so the first thing I'll point out, I'm in chat, I'm on the desktop app. You can see here now that I've got that connector into Ahrefs, which is our SEO engine tool. I came in here this morning and I just asked Claude in chat, hey, review our latest social post, that's the website, in Ahrefs, and flag any issues that I need to fix. Normally I'd have to go log in, I have to go dig around, I have to pull some reports. It's a pain. Now that I got the connector and I've configured it and I've logged in, I can just ask it in the prompt, and you can see here it pulled all the stats out of our SEO. It's got the top rankings by keywords. And then here, urgent issues to fix. I only have 25 organic keywords in my entire index. That's a problem. Social post media. These are the 5 things that I need to fix. It's got some other things that are working. It knows who else is on the team. So it's saying, these are our website. It's giving them specific things that they need to do to go and fix the SEO. I can copy this with this button right here. I could ask it to pipe it to Word or Google Drive and just send that report on. So once you have these connectors, you can just start prompting against the tools that you're in order to just get the responses much quicker than logging into those systems separately. Cool. That was demo 1. Demo 2. If you remember in the beginning, I said, set up your connectors. Then it was, if there's no connector, use an MCP server and have Claude help you connect with that. If they don't have an MCP server, there is a third option that you can implement. And it's called the Chrome extension for Claude. So what I'll show you here, I'm in Chrome. I added in the extensions. If you go to the extension store and search for extensions, you can add Claude. And that adds a little button right here for Claude. So now what I can do is I can pull up I think that I want Claude to look at. In this case, I pulled up LinkedIn. I didn't even go to my analytics page. I just pulled up LinkedIn. And I asked Claude, I said, hey, actually what I did here first was I asked Claude for a prompt that I should use when analyzing my LinkedIn performance, and just give me like history and some other things and anything else that you can think of that I should be looking at in LinkedIn. Claude gave me this entire prompt here to use. And I copied this prompt and I pasted it here. You can see it. I even left in this directly in Claude, copy paste. It's got the whole thing in here on basically what it wants, what it should do in my LinkedIn. And then I click go, and Claude uses my browser session, my logged in browser session, because remember, it doesn't have a connector, it doesn't have an MCP server. So now it's taking over my browser and it's analyzing, taking screenshots of my LinkedIn, analyzing, and then giving me the output here. You can see the actual steps that it's taking as it's going through and accomplishing the work that you want it to do. And then it gives me the report here. So here's my total impressions last week, the members reached. It's got my current week posts ranked 1 to 16. My audience demographics. Here's the performance report. Followers are up 185%. 10.5% of my audience is founder and CEO, which is good. Most of my followers in New York Metro, followed by Miami and San Francisco. Last week's stats, top 3 posts, bottom 3 posts, patterns that it's seeing that are working on my LinkedIn that I should continue to do. Engagement stats, audience insights, content performance analytics. It just goes on and on and on. And you could, if you don't want it to be this detailed, you could just give it a much smaller prompt. You can play with your prompt to get it to where you want. But so there is no LinkedIn connector. There's no way to do this as through a connector or through an MCP server. So you have to do it in the Chrome extension instead. Any questions on the Chrome extension?
Greg, this is really powerful. We got a couple messages in the chat just applauding this. I did have a question about the previous feature that you showed. As an example, in my company, we use Jira for one of our ticketing systems for our platform engineers. You kind of run a prompt there to see the activity of maybe tickets going on within a app, right?
Yep.
So from my perspective, if I'm able to kind of gave it access to Jira, and I said, look at the incoming tickets over this specific period of time, identify upticks in a specific area where our engineers need to go and put their focus. Is that kind of the purpose behind that?
That's exactly, yes. And that's exactly how I use it at Social Post. So I give it a prompt and I say, analyze all the Jira tickets, the ones that were updated, added, and completed last week, and give me a developer efficiency score of how good our team is doing and how good their efficiency was last week versus the week before versus the month before. And I'll run that and I'll review it. And then if I see concerning issues, I'll bring it to the team. I'll say, hey, and I'm very transparent with the folks that I use Claude to help analyze everything. It's just to help make sure that we're all being as efficient as possible, especially at a startup where cash is tight. And I'll use it. I'll act as a project manager, go into Jira, analyze all that data, and it's got all. It could be it could be intercom, for example, for your support help desk. Could be any of the different connectors that it has. But yeah, that having that capability of like giving me of how we're doing in these tools specifically. Review our HubSpot. So we have it connected to HubSpot connector, and I'll ask it, hey, go through the HubSpot and verify that all the email workflows are working correctly. And if you see any low performing email workflows in HubSpot, point them out and the areas we should improve it. In that prompt recently, it came back with 20 or 30 emails that were low performing. It said change the subjects on those emails to this, include the preview text that was disabled on a few of them, and they gave me the preview text to use. So being able to sort of work with it as an employee is super powerful.
Are there any risks to that? Larger companies, like the company that I work for, would be concerned that if we're giving access, would any of that data be available to a competitor? So we do a review of our opens. We notice that we have a major deficiency on our customer platform, and here's the specifics behind it. Is there any risk that that data could become available or public to a competitor where they could say, hey, look, this company, one of our competitors, having a major problem here. Let's try to use that to our advantage and go and improve our platform.
Great question. And I just looked at this about a week ago because I had a customer ask me sort of this thing. On the team plan and the enterprise plan, it does not use your data or your prompts or your information or connectors to train any of their models. They hold it for 30 days. They do say they hold it for 30 days so that they can analyze how their systems are working, but it doesn't show up anywhere else. And after 30 days, they delete it. They're just using it to sort of figure things out of how the LLM is thinking. Thing you can do is just ask Claude, what are the terms and conditions? I work at a big company. We're concerned about our data being exposed to competitors. What are the safeguards you have in place on the team plan or the enterprise plan to prevent that from happening? And it will give you a full report that you could send to your legal ahead of time or your boss to look at to show them that it is safe.
Great. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Moving right along. We got a few more demos here, and then we're going to take a break. We got 25 minutes left. I'll show you a few more examples here of how I use Claude in Chrome. The second one is I log into my Office 365 inbox, and I just ask Claude, hey, review my inbox in the last 24 hours and let me know if there's anything I should respond to. Maybe I missed. And sure enough, it came back and said, yeah, there's two very important emails. One is from my doctor. I have to have a foot surgery thing. She's got some questions about scheduling. I never responded. The other is my angel investment company, Henson Venture Partners. Someone had submitted a Let's Talk form on that website, and they want to talk. And so it gives me the high priority items. Some folks reached out on LinkedIn messages, and it's saying we should follow up on these. And that's it. There's some FYI, but no need to respond. So you can analyze your inboxes. I've seen people also have it draft responses to the high priority items so that when you come in here, you can just go to your drafts folder, look at how Claude, because remember, you gave it instructions of who you are and what you do, and it will draft the emails for you to respond to those high priority items. You could fully automate that if you want. I'm personally not comfortable doing that. I'd rather have it do drafts, and then I come in, make my tweaks, and hit send. So that was demo 3. Any questions, Phil?
No, I think we're good.
Great. Last one here, the Claude Chrome stuff I'm going to demo is WhatsApp. So I've logged into WhatsApp. You can see here I'm in a lot of different groups. This is my personal WhatsApp. One that I'm in is called AI Experimentation, and there's 800 people in this group that are just sharing every day what they're working on and what AI stuff they're building and all of that stuff. Like you can even see here, I posted if anyone's using or working in this particular API model that I found. And it's great, but you can see here, like this is from yesterday. The number of messages in here is a lot. So what I'll do is, especially in groups, is I'll just say, hey, Claude, go through this group and summarize all the chats inside this group over the last 24 hours. And boom, here yesterday, here's all the chats, here's what everyone's talking about. Here's what they've already started talking about today. Here are the key themes. And it will summarize all that for me. I don't have to go in and spend an hour reading every single message and deciding whether or not this is something I should know about. You can also have these saved locally to a local folder, so that there's history and they're searchable very easily from your Windows or Mac computer. So that was demo 4. Anything that you can log into over a browser, you can ask Claude to do whatever you want it to do. It'll even take actions for you if you wanted to delete messages, if you wanted to post social media posts, if you wanted to draft emails. You can use it not only for the analysis piece, but also to do follow-up actions. Great. Okay, next, we're going to talk about projects. Another powerful feature here of Claude. You'll notice in Cowork, you'll see a projects tab. You have projects also available in chat, but when you click on it, it takes you to the same location. The projects under chat and Cowork are different. that you do have ones in here. The Cowork projects are more powerful. You can see here, I have a bunch of different projects in here. You can create a new project, and we'll do that in a minute. I'll show you that. But I created a project called the Cloud Veterans website. I gave it instructions. I asked it to I told it what I want to do, which is basically get a daily report of our website analytics for the Cloud Veterans website. I gave it a location, a directory to work within, and it'll only stay within that directory. And then I copied and pasted the prompt that I had Claude write for it by itself. I didn't write any of this. I just asked Claude to write its own prompt, pasted it here, and then asked it to run this analysis. And you can hear that it ran the analysis on the website. And this is basically in the last 24 hours for our website. We had 60 people come in, 54 were unique, applications received to the program, and just some summary and recommended actions. And so this, I can come in here and run I want. Or the nice thing about projects is you can schedule them to run automatically. Very key. I could add a scheduled task here, and I could just say, hey, run this report every day at 9 a.m. Those will show up under your scheduled tabs here. So under scheduled, you'll see what it's set to do. And also schedule tasks in Chrome. So you don't have to go to Chrome and type in the prompt every single time. You can create a scheduled task here, tell it to go to Chrome, do this XYZ thing, and then save the results into a folder on your local computer and give you that is projects. And we'll do a quick project here. How are we doing on time? We're running out of time here. I was going to do a demo. I don't have time right now, but this is always a good one. I just got back from Disneyland. I was there for my birthday, took the family, and we got the Disney photo pass, and I downloaded all the photos from the Disney thing. And you can see here, it's got, a bunch of duplicates. It's got the naming conventions are just okay. You could come in here and just say, hey, create a project, point it to the folder where those particular pictures are and say, rename these to make sure that they make sense. Find ones that are duplicate or where someone's covered or their eyes are closed, and move those to a different folder because they're probably not good. I'll review them later. And organize all of my photos for me. That's a great little project for you, because having to manually rename every single photo in your local photos folders, we're all sitting on months of work to go in and clean up our photos. This can do it in about an hour, 100,000 photos. All right, those are the demos. So let's just take a 5-minute, let's just actually, before we, hopefully folks have been playing with this while I've been talking, or they have some ideas. If not, go ahead and start building a project, trying things out, setting up your connectors. Let's open the floor now and see to other folks who have either just set something up right now on the call, came up with an idea, added a connector, tested something out, and they were blown away by the result that they got.
Yeah, any volunteers, just raise your hand and I'll allow you to speak. And you can probably share your screen with us if you have anything.
Yeah, make them a presenter.
Just raise your hand if you'd like. One other thing I'd like to add before we do that is Claude is probably one of the first AI tools that I've used that can really build and manipulate Excel files for you. I've had trouble using ChatGPT or other AI tools for this. I recently I have a project at work where I'm managing a large portfolio of accounts, and I'm trying to build an executive dashboard where my VP can go in and kind of drop down and look at the accounts that I'm managing. So I had multiple different spreadsheets out there that I was trying to kind of combine and give him the view to do that. Last week I put it in the Claude, and it built an entire just new workbook for me. Looks a lot better than I did. It's all integrated across the workbooks. So if you're trying to build out a complex workbook in Excel, Claude is your tool, I promise you.
The Excel, it's a great point, Philip. The Excel point is very powerful. It's great for saying, hey, I have this little startup and I need a SaaS financial model. based on our subscription and everything else. And Claude will analyze all the connectors, go into your Stripe account, look at how everything is laid out, and then build you a financial model that you could take to investors and show them, where you think you're going to be over the next 6 or 12 months. In one of my other companies, we have financials in different countries with different currencies. And at the end of the month, to help close faster, we export the financial data from our accounting system each month. Then we give those files to Claude and say, hey, go ahead and based on these financials, build us a consolidated financial spreadsheet across all of our entities because they're all owned by the same company. And it does it like in 5 minutes, which would normally take us days to do.
Awesome. Anybody willing to share something they've built, or if not, I can share one of my examples, but I want to give you guys an opportunity as well. Okay. I'll share real quick, Greg. Another project that I was recently working on was, so I manage a support team, right? A post-sale support team in my company, and we needed an improved agent scorecard, right? So how do we measure our agents? Obviously, we have our KPIs for them. The KPIs are kind of located all over the place. How do we take all those KPIs, get them into a single scorecard where that agent gets a score from 1 to 10 that they can open up and view on a weekly or quarterly basis? So I actually used Claude. I gave it the commands. I gave it some of the spreadsheets that I already had, similar to my last project. And it built an Excel spreadsheet scorecard that I can share with you guys real quick. Let's see if let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
So again, agent scorecard, right? And the different metrics that we're looking at to measure them in. So this is kind of the outline. So we're measuring CSAT, we're measuring average tickets closed per day, SLA achievement on their tickets, mean time to resolution, reopen rate, how many calls they take per day. So like all of these metrics are being measured. So you can basically enter all that information in and they would get a scorecard, right? So this is the calculator that I would use. You would come in here, you would measure, you would enter those actual measurements. So let's say their CSAT was an 80%. You put 0.8 in there, that gives them that weighted score based on how their performance was. How many tickets they close per day? Let's say they're closing 10 tickets per day. They get a 6 here. You enter all this information in here and it gives you that overall weighted score for that specific period of time for that agent, right? And then you can scroll over and you can enter all of the agents' names here with their scores. As you enter them in there and you can click enter, it'll automatically move that into this spreadsheet here. And then you have their overall performance that you can meet with your employees or your agents and give them the rundown of how they're performing within that specific period of time. You can modify these, obviously, whatever type of business you're in. It's a sales organization, maybe it's a sales number or a net revenue retention number, but you can adjust these to whatever you want, give them weights, right, on a scale of 1 to 10 or however you want to build that out. And, one may be worth a little bit more than another. And then this will do all the calculations for you and give you that overall performance. So just a really quick, easy way to see how your employees or your agents or whatever it is that type of company you have and how those people are performing. So I built this in 45 minutes in Claude, giving it commands, sharing it, the files that I already built for this. It consolidated everything and just connected everything via a spreadsheet. So super powerful tool you can use that for as well.
That's great. You can even have it grab that data for you either through the connector or the MCP or Chrome and build this out for you on a daily basis.
Yep, exactly.
Very cool.
So stop sharing here.
Since we have a little bit of time here, let me share my screen again. Let's go ahead and do that photo cleanup real quick. I'll show you guys how this works. So we're going to create a new project here. I create a new project. Start from scratch is usually what I choose here. I'll give it a name, Disney Photo Cleanup. I'll give it the directory to work within where I have those files saved. Right here, 1 second. We don't have to wait too long. I got the directory here.
Greg, we do have a question. We got a hand up here. I'm going to allow Francis to come off mute here. Hey, Francis, how are you? Go ahead and come off mute and you can ask your question.
Hi, can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
Hey, it's Sherelle. Good morning. And Greg, and to everyone else, I just was going to share. I've been using Claude very heavy. My 13-year-old daughter has her own clay bead bracelet making that she's doing business, I should say. And so I built out her actual plan. I'll be fair, she gave me her idea and her inspiration, but then what I told Claude to do was to actually take it and now let's build out a schedule. She's 13 in the eighth grade. What should she be doing weekly? What should her work plan be? And then how should we be tracking her sales through our stand store? So it gave us a really like a playbook, if you will. And then I created a project and uploaded all her pictures, her logo, her whole brand, and then it gave me a brand audit. And what it did was help me simplify her actual order request that we have in the site. So it gave us some answers there. She's not doing much on social media promoting it right now, but I wanted to just have a scenario if we were to go that way, what should it look like? So it literally did it in like 3.5 minutes, but I did feed it all of our initial information, the logos, vendor request forms, and then her original text to me, which was from her of what inspired her to do it. And so it really captured it really, really well. So that made it a huge difference of me sitting there trying to do it myself. And I have Lovable also, but I found it to be easier in Claude.
Yeah, good points there, Shirley. I would, yeah, obviously getting the instructions set up correctly for her in general is important, but you can also do what's called skills in Claude, and I'll show this to you guys really quick. Let me share my screen. So if you guys remember back under where you set up the connectors, if you go back to your settings here, all right, it's not settings, it's under the company information. So if I go to organization settings, you have skills down here. Where are they? Hold on a second. Let me show you. Cowork. Where are skills? Does anyone remember where skills are off the top of your head? Oh, it's under customize. Sorry, it's not under settings. You got to go to customize here. And then remember we talked about connectors. That's where you connect your data in. You also have skills. And what you can do here is you can create these skills that are specific task based. For example, I asked it to do LinkedIn analytics. I asked it to, the best thing you can do is once you've been using Claude for a little while, is just ask Claude, say, hey, what skills should I be using and should I set up in Claude? That's what I did with these. And it came back and it said, you can see it right here in the chat. I asked it, based on how I use Claude, give me a list of skills that I should set up in Claude. And right away, it gave me these are the 3 ones you should do immediately. These are medium, and these are other priority ones you can do. And then from there, I said, great, go ahead and create those skills for me and put them into my settings, the ones that are in the high priority section. And boom, it created the skills. You just click save skill, and then you can run that skill at any point from your chat. So you can say, hey, run the skill. You don't even have to have the exact name. Run the skill that does the LinkedIn analysis thing. And it will go and run that right there. It would be trained on what that specific skill is. I've seen people use it for their YouTube videos, for the different YouTube metadata settings. You can create skills to do social media in your case, Shirley. But the skills are also a nice superpower in here.
We have another Cecil, I think, wanted to share a SaaS product that he was
Okay.
working on inside of Claude. Cecil, can you raise your hand so I can allow you in?
While
Just
he's
unmute
jumping
yourself.
over there, I also mentioned there's Claude Academy. Great place to do learning. You register for an account. They have videos you can watch, and YouTube is also a really good resource. There's a lot of like Claude 101 and tutorials in there, and those are all free. Both of those are free.
Is there a way to share my screen?
You should be able to. Let me see if I can give you. I might need to promote him to a panelist to do it. Let's try that.
You should see a little share button in the bottom middle area of the Zoom app.
Try again there, Cecil.
I can share now. Let me pull up this. Could y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
So this is I retired from the military last summer and I got a job as a project manager on with the local sheriff's department, and I'm dealing with a lot of different projects, but one of the issues that they have is old antiquated software that they're using for fleet management. So I'm basically building a bespoke software platform for them for not just their fleet management, but also telematics and positioning. Like we're pulling in different APIs for different vendors that we're using. So this has not been launched. This is all testing data, but you could pull in, you could see location units, different units online, things like that. Let's see, fleet management. You could keep track of all your vehicles here. Anything you can think of within a vehicle or any trucks or cars, whether it's a police department, a municipality, school board with their buses. You could basically think of any use case, even individual companies that have fleets for whatever, whether it's a shipping company, UPS. But you could track all of the fuel management. There's APIs built in and webhooks built in where you can push and pull information from other sources, whether it's a fuel card, a fleet fuel card system. There's also a built-in VMS. So, like for the police department, we have live dash cams, and so we could pull in that live feed into this platform as well. So
That's
this
very
this, plat
cool.
this platform is built out where it could be a multi-tenant. So yeah, there's a super admin piece right here. Well, I just kicked myself out because I hadn't logged in for a while, but
No worries.
but there's a tenant management piece right there where you can have multiple tenants, and then you can they could be custom branding here. So like if I wanted to pull in, I have the Rouge Sheriff's Office, but if I want to pull in another agency or company or whatever, I can actually rebrand them here, and so change the name up here, change their logo, all of the color
Nice.
scheme. And so it's pretty comprehensive. There's a lot of reports, there's advanced analytics here, custom reports, standard reports, automated automation built in. The dashboard is completely.
This was all built in Claude Code or
I actually use Cowork, and it took me.
Cowork? Yeah,
Yep, and I've worked on this probably for 4 weeks. I've hit the
great.
pause button on it for a little bit because I'm working on something else for my own personal use. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is, and it all runs in Docker, so it could be deployed in a Docker container on AWS or any other, like a on-prem server. So
nice.
it's very
Nice.
powerful if you get Claude Cowork set up with the skills and the customization like you're talking about. It's very powerful.
Yep. The skills
Uh,
are good for coding as well. Well, folks, we are at, thank you very much, Cecil, for sharing that. That was a great example of the power of this tool. One last thing I'll point out before we wrap up, just for everyone to know, there is a mobile app for Claude. It works very good for both Android and iPhone. The only problem with it is it only works with chat. So you do not have,
platform.
yeah, you don't have Cowork or Claude or code on the mobile app. But instead, under Cowork, you're going to see this thing called Dispatch. And when you click on this, you connect your phone. You'll screenshot it with your phone. And then you can work with Cowork while you're on your mobile phone, traveling abroad. Or I was at a basketball game the other day and I needed it to do some analysis on some stuff. I opened Dispatch in the mobile app and I gave Claude the instructions. It took those instructions, passed them to my computer, ran it through Cowork, and then shot me back the output onto my mobile device. You do have to make sure your computer is on. So you have to turn off basically your hibernate and sleep modes. But when you do that, you have full access to Cowork on your mobile phone while you're traveling or doing some other things. So another nice feature there is that dispatch feature. Cool.
Awesome. A
Well,
couple of questions in the chat about the recording. So this was recorded. We will be sharing it. The link will be in our Discord channel. Before we drop off, let me throw that link to the Discord channel in the chat here for everyone. And we'll also share it, I believe, Greg, on the Cloud Veterans website as well.
yes, we haven't set that up yet, but we will.
Okay. And then if you're not involved in Cloud Veterans yet, as in the training program, hello@cloudveterans.com. I'll throw that in the chat here.
We hope everyone got some good information today. We're going to continue with this series. We'll announce shortly, usually on social media, as well as the folks who attended this. They'll get an email of the next session coming up in a week or two. But we'll dive into another AI tool here shortly.
Perfect. And I just added the hello@cloudveterans.com. Greg added the website there, and then the link to our Discord if you're not involved there yet. That's the best place to get up-to-date information, and then we'll also be dropping the recording into the Discord. Are you paying for multiple LLMs or just Claude? Personally, I'm paying for 2 at the moment. I pay for ChatGPT and Claude. What about you, Greg? Are you paying for multiple AI?
I do, yes. Claude and GPT I pay for today. I like using both.
Perfect.
I do. I also have a WhatsApp community. Let me see if I can invite via link. If you guys are interested in learning more about AI, I'll paste it in here. You can put this, click on this to join that chat. It's called AI Playground. It's a community. I just set it up, so it's fairly new, but I'm sharing everything that I'm learning in that group. And if you're a founder, a startup founder, or business owner, I have another one just called Founder Chat, where that one's very active. We have, I don't know, 100 or so folks in that chat, all business owners that are sharing ideas of what they're doing and helping each other. Because I always know that the more people you have in the room and in the conversation and from various backgrounds as a sounding board, the better. So
one last link I'm going to throw in the chat here, everyone. We recently partnered with Opline for our job placement board, and I will throw the link. It's on our website. It's on the Cloud Veterans website. If you go to cloudveterans.org, on the top right-hand side, you will see a link to find jobs. Actually, I can't because it's personal to me, so I can't add that in there. But go to cloudveterans.com or cloudveterans.org, I'm sorry, and then in the top right, you will see find jobs, and then that will open up a link into Opline where you can start that job placement application with them. And then we'll probably do another demo on that down the road once we get more familiar with it. If you guys don't see the links, join our club.
I see the Phil. So in the chat box, you have to hit the down arrow and say everyone instead of hosts.
Okay. Hosts and panelists. That's right.
There we go. So I just put in WhatsApp chat there. Sorry, folks. We just figured out Zoom just before the call.
There's the Discord. Yep. And what else did I miss? Oh,
here's this one too. I got the WhatsApp groups in there too. So feel free to join those and send them to other folks too. The more people we have in those chats, the better. Just don't put the WhatsApp chats on social media because then we get bots and all kinds of weird people joining. So just send it to anyone you want to join that you know. Fantastic. Well, we went a little over time, but I think it was worth it. A lot of great examples. Hopefully this gave you some ideas on how to use Claude. You can always ask Claude. The best thing to do is ask Claude, say, hey, am I using Claude effectively? Are there things that I should be using that I'm not using today based on my chat history that will help me be more efficient? That's the best question you can ask Claude, and ask it on a weekly or monthly basis to make sure you're fully leveraging Claude to its max capabilities based on your usage and style. Great. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the beautiful weather, at least over here in the East Coast. We will let you know when we're doing the next session. Thank you for attending. Have a great rest of the weekend. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.